Welcome. Welcome. I was trying to think about how to phrase it. Like, welcome to my mind, my YouTube channel, uh, whatever you want to call it. I think what I'm going to say is thank you for clicking because it means a lot for anyone to actually go out of their way and listen to what the heck this crazy Mexican has to say. At least I think I'm Mexican. I haven't taken a 23andMe, and I honestly don't really know my lineage 100%. Anyway, so the title of this video, I'm still working on it. I have a title in mind, but it's very likely going to jeopardize, or I don't want to say it. Perhaps it's a truth that shouldn't be spoken yet. But the overall theme of this video is going to be an introduction into what it is that I have to say. What is the wake that I want to leave on the internet? I recognize how little I actually understand things, but also people. I honestly don't really understand how other people work most of the time because to me the way other people function is very can be very foreign or not. It doesn't make a lot of sense, like, and I'm trying to make it. I try to understand because in this life I've I've finally come. I say finally, but I've recently come to an understanding of how I really want to leave my impact in this reality, right? In this medium, quite frankly, right? I'm gonna just give context some for this video because this is essentially, like I said, I'm not even sure if I said it honestly, but this is a introduction, welcome video, and other videos will be more structured with a specific theme of what it is I'm trying to convey. But right now, I feel like I need to set a reference frame for what it is that I'm trying to speak. Essentially, I'm trying to speak truth. And when I say that, I don't just mean my truth. I want to know truth in this life. Knowledge and truth to me are the same thing. Knowledge, truth are things, are words that we use to describe what it feels like or what it is to have genuine, intuitive understanding of what the frick is going on. I might cuss, but I kind of don't want to, so I might be a bit inconsistent with that. But anyway, let's start. Let's start with an anecdote, right? My name. I won't say my full name. I'll just say the name I want to say. Is Osmar. I'm from Chula Vista. It's inside of San Diego, California. And San Diego is, I mean, it's awesome. Quite frankly, it's like it's to me, it is like one of the best cities to live in. California, the state, it has its problems, right? Because we live in an imperfect, quite frankly, an imperfect universe. But um, it's amazing. I love this city. I love, I love that I can finally say, you know what? I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm gonna spit some straight ism, and I just go do it. It's awesome. But anyway, I'm gonna speak, especially from this video. I'm gonna speak from a very subjective point of view. And in me speaking from a subjective point of view, I hope that people listening can listen to my subjective experience in life and genuinely resonate with some of the themes that I felt inside of my experience. I have memories from a very young, very, very young child. The earliest memories I can remember, well, quite frankly, there's two. There's, let's start with the one that's more relevant to what this channel is, at least what I'm trying to say. One of my first memories was in the house that I'm currently staying at. It's my mother's house. And I was sitting there, actually not sitting, sorry. I woke up. I woke up in a king or queen size bed, and I was about 3 years old, more or less, like around there. It's hard to say, but I was like 3 years old. And I was very young. And what I remember after waking up is imagine me resting like I'm laying down this way. And when my eyes open and I see lines and they're slightly open and I see a sun, I look over and I see my brother. We're sleeping in the same bed. Nothing weird, okay? Just, didn't grow up with a lot of money, so we had to, share beds. And I knew he was there the whole time. Like, as soon as I woke up, I turned and I'm like, oh, hey, there's my brother. But the thing that I didn't know was, where am I right now? And the first thing I immediately asked myself is, where am I? What is this? What is going on? It's the first thing I asked myself. Just boom, 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 bunch of questions. Like, where am I? What's going on? What's happening? And this memory, for some reason, that's all that I can actually remember. It's just that moment waking up. And what I remember after that, in sequence of that moment, is later on in life. I think I was about 6 or 5. I was in kindergarten, and I thought back to that moment, and I'm sure, quite frankly, I'm sure that someone probably prompted me. They were like, "Oh, hey, what's your earliest memory?" And I said it, right? But after I said it, I remember being a youngster, and I was like, I need to remember this, like, because it mattered to me. Because I woke up and I didn't know where I was and what's going on, and I was just like, I knew that it would truly matter to me, genuinely. Like I said, this is a subjective experience, and I really hope if you're listening that you truly understand that I'm not pulling your leg, or I'm not LARPing. Like this is me. This is the story that I have to tell. Anyway, that memory is so pivotal. At least I've made it, quite frankly, foundational for who I am, because I don't want to forget that memory, and I'm not going to let myself. The universe can try with Alzheimer's or whatever, but I'm going to fight as hard as I can for a lot of things, and one of them is going to be my memories. Now, anyway, why do I bring that up, right? Why would I bring up being curious and freaking waking up next to your brother in some random house? The more you know in life, the less you know. And that is something that is genuinely true. Again, currently speaking subjectively, but I really think a lot of people can agree with that sentiment. Now let's jump to subjective objective. A lot of people can agree that the more you know, the less you know. Well, why is it that none of us can agree on some sort of objective truth? And when I say that, I'm not saying, oh yeah, well, objectively speaking, we're all on the planet Earth. Or objectively speaking, all of us are human. Sure, in some realm that is objectively true, so long as you subscribe to that. Now, pause, right? I'm not trying to go conspiracy, like, oh my god, what does this guy think? What is this guy yapping about? That's not what I'm trying to say, okay? I agree and I concur that we are indeed humans and we are indeed on the planet Earth. What I'm getting at is why is it that we all have such different perspectives? Why is it that there's the Abrahamic religions, there's Hinduism, there's Buddhism, right? There's freaking Norse mythology, Greek mythology, there's freaking, whatever. I ran out of examples, but like you get my point. There's a lot of different ways to view, all right? Obviously, me saying that, it'd be like, well, duh, people grew up in, people are from the Philippines, they're from China, they're from different parts of the world, and each one of us are gonna have our own observation of what the hell is going on around us, right? We have our own like rationalization. I put it in quotations, but it is rationalizing. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out what's going on, right? And we're trying to pinpoint what is it that we're experiencing. At least, uh, generally speaking, a vast amount of humans, right? The issue I have with this is that because we don't have a, and I'm going to use these words, quite frankly, I should look up the Webster dictionary of what these mean, but this is what they mean to me, right? These words, genuine and true, and I'm slapping this for emphasis, right? Those words mean so much to me. When I was 3, if I woke up and I truthfully and genuinely, objectively woke up and God was in the room and he said, "Oh, what's up, Osmar? So you are going to live 113 years and this is going to be your life. And just trust me, bro. Believe in me. I'm right here. I'm talking to you. Let's make this happen. You're going to do whatever you want." Dog, I wouldn't be talking on this phone right now. Well, maybe I would. The point I'm getting at is if he told everyone this, there would not be necessarily a challenge or a struggle going on right now, right? But he doesn't explicitly tell you through this. He won't tell you straight up. You have to listen. That's what I'm getting at. You know, I hope that makes sense. Because that's the whole, quite frankly, that's part of the reason why I feel that when it comes down to a lot of these religions and ideologies, it's so subjective because that's part of the plan, quite frankly, right? That's part of the that's part of the reason why we're even here. If you were to actually know the truth, right, it would essentially break the fourth wall, right? Think about it. I mean, it would be very chaotic, right? Quite frankly, actually, I won't go there. That'll be for another video. Scratch what I was about. Howdy. You guys like the cat shirt? Um, so the audio cut out. That was kind of fun. It was also kind of ironic because I was literally about to say something and then I was like, actually, let's scratch that. Anyway, um, the rest of the video that I was gonna start talking about, um, future videos I will have a script. I will, okay, not a script per se. I'm gonna have bullet points, bullet points of specific things that I want to say, but I really want to say it from. Even if I were to write a script, it would be genuine as well. But the way I convey messages, I like to do it in a like authentic way that is just like off the dome, right? Like just spitting because I feel like I have a that's just how I want to communicate. That's kind of how I want this channel to be. Specifically this channel. I plan to do short form content and that would likely be more scripted just because of the nature of short form content. But with this one, and I'm starting just here for a while, short form content, I'm not sure when I'll begin to do that. But yeah, so back to, I guess let's just wrap up most things I want to talk about. I appreciate if you continued watching the whole thing, and I hope that
quite frankly, I hope a lot of people resonate with the story I had to tell. In particular, the earliest memory I've had, and kind of seeing how it is that I'm putting things together, and hopefully you're like, wait, I feel like I resonate with how this guy sees the world. That'd be awesome, because you know this argument or this the way that we as humans interact with this world, right? It is very subjective, and we all try to we're all trying to find some sort of truth to a certain regard, right? I mean, some people believe they found it, and that's great. Um, for them, kind of, actually. I'm only saying that because that's what people say all the time, but perhaps I'll discuss more in other videos because, quite frankly, I believe once people truly define as if they believe something is true, like fully, like certain things. Okay, like for example, right? There's this like hysteria going on right now, this religious hysteria in Atlanta, where um, certain people in Atlanta like genuinely believe that Atlanta is Atlantis. Not sure if anyone watching's heard of that, but I don't know. Go on TikTok and you'll probably see it. And that's just a prime example of what happens once you fixate on like something being your truth. And that's kind of where I'm at in life, where I want to fixate on something being my genuine truth, but I don't want it to just be something that is like not actually true, quite frankly, right? At least objectively, right? That's I said that earlier. Subjectivity or subjective versus objective, and I feel like I'm gonna have people talk to me, especially people, actually very much so, people who are atheist or materialist. They're gonna definitely come at me and be like, "Okay, well, what are you talking about?" Or maybe not. I think the main thing is in this world, you really need to have an open mind. You need to seriously be open, right? Um, and through having an open mind and conversation and hearing other people's perspectives, that is how we get things done, like for real. Like if you think of engineers, right? A lot of the times there's a reason why projects, I mean not all projects, right? Not everything that starts, but when there's like big projects that go on, you have a whole team of engineers because you genuinely need multiple perspectives to make really, really good decisions, especially when it helps a lot, especially, when it's like a decision like a 50-year-old bridge that needs to be either refurbished or completely reconstructed, right? Some every engineer is going to look at the exact same data, but some are going to argue that it just needs a bit of just I don't know, slap a new paint job on it, right? I'm being simplistic. Or one of them would be like, okay, this thing's like, given the data, this thing is genuinely going to like collapse in 5 years, and we should completely reconstruct it. And they're looking at the exact same data, right? And it's just because of that particular example has a lot to do with the risk factors, right? But anyways, so to tie everything together, I'm currently studying mechanical engineering, but my whole life, I've always just wanted to have, I've always been in just a pursuit of knowledge. And I felt that engineering was a great way for me to essentially pursue the knowledge that I want while also um, being able to get paid or, like move within society while also moving, I guess you can say, personally or spiritually. It's a great, overall it's really good, but I have come recently to more understanding that like you don't need to study that specific major to essentially be like a problem solver, right? But I'm still in the mix currently of exactly where I want my trajectory to go because like a part of me as well would like love to study just like philosophy, just raw philosophy, but um I think realistically for my scenario I could do it, but like I'm not sure how much that would really fit me. So moving from here, videos will have bullet points and they'll have the title, which is going to be what I'm focusing on in that video, right? So I hope that, I hope that I piqued your interest in some fashion, and I hope that the next video that I post seriously piques your interest because right now the goal that I'm currently setting, right, is, well, one, it's getting out there, getting familiar with being in front of a camera, with editing, with being in the like social media mix. But I really want to create a community of people that not necessarily think like-minded, because echo chambers aren't helpful necessarily, but that are getting towards the same page as I am, right? Because we're when you to put it, if we're talking about pages, we're all reading the same book, right? The book is the reality that we're all experiencing. But the thing about this book and being on different pages is that it doesn't seem like we can all agree that we're reading the exact same book, right? So many people disagree. And that is part of it, is a beautiful thing and it helps a lot. But I would just I'm one to argue that it will help immensely for us to be able to define this book better and do it in a way that is extremely objective. Because I truly believe that because we can't define what the book we're reading is, and we have all these different perspectives, that is what is leading to the miscommunications, the arguments, the believing that you're right just because of how you see things, right? That's not fair, right? Like, I don't need to. I mean, I want to bring up examples, right? But we see the examples everywhere, especially politically, right? It's, politics are a nightmare. Like, anyway, um, I'm not quite sure how to end the video. I appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you so much. Thank you for hearing me out so far. I really hope you stick around. I really hope this video pops on everyone's For You page imaginable. That'd be awesome, right? But I don't know. We'll see how that algorithm works. Yeah. Thanks for listening.